Checkmate, Ruin, and Obituary. These are the three main stations in the Pyro system, which are also the home of the contested zones. But Fried Chicken, what are the contested zones and why should we go to Pyro to experience them? Well, these zones offer a lot actually in the form of fun storytelling and combat, and also really good rewards just in case you're out there in the verse trying to find something a little different. And you also have the opportunity of getting a free ship with a little bit of elbow grease put into the game. But hey, welcome back to the channel for another video. You guys already know who it is. It is the biggest bird in the verse, FC, aka Fried Chicken. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the contested zones. So Ghost Arena is one of my more favorable zones out of the three. In my opinion, it offers some of the best rewards once you make your way to the loot room. In Ghost Arena, there are three separate zones within the main battlefield. You have the Last Resort, the Crypt, and then the Wasteland. Each of these subzones have a key card that you absolutely need in order to make your way into the vault so you can gather all of those beautiful military components in the main loot room. Now, Ghost Arena, in my opinion, is one of the easiest zones out of the three, but it can also be the hardest. And that is because ever since 4.1.1 dropped, the NPCs has been running rampant. They double spawn, triple spawn, and sometimes when you walk into the zone, there's just a huge army of NPCs that just constantly keep spawning in. Or you may run into no NPCs at all, which will make this entire zone a complete breeze, which can be ran in just a matter of minutes. Now, if you actually wish to do this contestant zone properly, then your main objective is to gather three separate key cards that are within each zone. You have your Crypt card, you have your Wasteland card, and then you have your Last Resort card. Now, each of these cards have a corresponding vault within the loot rooms that you have to use in order to gain access to gather one of the 7 comp boards that you will need in order to access the Executive Hangers to claim your military components and your kitted out military ship at the end of the whole entire experience. Now for the part that is kind of mundane and boring when it comes to Ghost Arena and dangerous as well, and that is going to be waiting for the main vault to open. The main vault opens on a 15-minute timer. Thankfully, it's 15 minutes. It used to be on a 30-minute timer, which was ridiculous. With NPCs spawning and players running in, you just never knew what would take you down. And so now it's really streamlined and very easy to run in because you don't really got to worry about it that much anymore. You can go hit all the subzones, and then by the time you come back out, the lights will be flashing and ready for you to go run in. And that is pretty much it for Ghost Arena, just to break it down. Now, let me tell you about my personal thoughts and experiences with this zone. I do like it a lot. It's my second favorite zone just because it offers a lot. There's a lot of crazy things that can happen here between the players running in from all the entry points and the massive amounts of NPCs that just keep spawning in over and over again. And this zone also, in my opinion, has some of the best loot rewards out of all the three. This one has all the big and nice juicy ship components for all of your ships, from small to big. And you know, I can't knock it enough. That is a lot of fun just because it offers a lot more. Also, this is the zone where you can gather all of your tweaker components for all of your FPS needs. You can gather size 1, size 2 compensators and emods here, which is actually very easy to locate in each of the subzones, so you don't have to actually look very hard or go into the vaults to locate them. Quite simple and easy. And if any of you guys are trying to get better at your PvP combat, I do highly recommend Ghost Arena just because you're able to hop back into the fight real quick and easy without having to deal with a long trudge through the zone in order to get back to the action. It's all readily available right there front and center at the main entrance. Alright, you guys know what time it is. It is time for Checkmate. This is by far one of my most favorable zones out of all the three. Number 1, Unuro Numo. This is my zone. As everyone knows, Fried Chicken does all of his main weapon testing videos here. This is where I record it just because I have a lot of fun. And this zone offers some of the best FPS loot you can potentially find within the game. Now, one of the other reasons why I absolutely love Checkmate Station's contestant zone is because this zone kind of acts like a puzzle or a maze. This zone forces you to gather key cards in the form of a red supervisor card and a blue security card that you can gather within and outside of this contested zone. You know, if you actually want to gather the cards till they fix the phasing bug, but you know, it is what it is. Also, Checkmate Station is the only zone out of the 3 that offers lore in the form of data tablets. They are scattered throughout the entire contested zones that you have to locate and find, and it gives you some nice deep lore about the fire rats, which is actually interesting, understanding how this cult and religion actually rose to power and how they gather people to burn in solar flares. It's quite an insane religion, I guess, if you will, in the game. But other than that, it's really cool. There's 2 separate routes. There is the market route, which has more NPCs you can fight. And then there is the chapel route, which has less NPCs, which in my opinion, I call safer. That does not require a red supervisor card. So you're able to make your way up to the main loot room. Again, I love this zone. It's where I do all of my FPS testing. There is great amount of PvP and PvE combat, a little bit of puzzling here and there when it comes to gathering the key cards, and you're just able to find all kinds of really cool loot, especially if you go into the Horizon zone or if you wish to go other different routes to find scorched armor or scorched weapons. And even at the main loot room, there are 2 separate bosses that you can farm if you're good with it. The Carnifex and the Pyrotechnic dude will spawn every once in a while, so you'll be able to claim the rewards and the ship components and a bunch of other stuff too, including the 1, 2, 3 key cards for the Executive Hangers. Now, when it comes to Obituary's contestant zone, I do not have a lot to say. This is a Xenothreat controlled area that is very linear and very straightforward. It's actually not even that long. The only thing you need to have while entering this contested zone is 1 fuse and then 1 red card if you wish to actually use a red card. There isn't a whole lot of PvP action in the zone because it's so straightforward, and there's actually not a lot of NPC presence here until you get to the final loot room or the hangar that has all the cool stuff inside of it. The zone itself is designed very cool. It's very unique, especially with the chop shop and everything where the 4th key card is at. But this zone, to me, it just lacks depth. There's just nothing really going on. There's no story to this zone or anything. You just run it and then that's it. At least at Checkmate, there's actually data tablets around it that tells you what's going on. And at Ghost Arena, that an organization is running these battles at Ghost Arena. So you kind of know what is going on. But here at Obituary, the question kind of comes up and I ask myself is, why is Xenothreat even here? Since you don't actually see them really operate in the area, I do know that they have 1 base on Bloom, but other than that, they kind of operate more on Terminus and other planets. So again, why are they here? Makes no sense to me. What are they trying to hide? What's going on? I don't know. Do you know? Comment down below. But again, like I said, it's just very lackluster. There's not a whole lot of great loot here, and it's just not it for me. It's just not it. It's cool, but it's not great. Even at the main loot room, when you get to the actual hangars to get all the cool ship components and stuff, there isn't a lot. Here at Obituary, this is where you're gonna find all of the guns for your ship. There's gonna be a couple power plants here and there. You're not gonna find any shields, but that's what to expect in this loot room. Pretty much everyone comes here just to get those glorified MB30s, MB28s, and then I think the MB26s. So that's the biggest thing for this entire zone, is just trying to get those ship guns because the MB30s are powerful. But other than that, it's a very lackluster zone. The loot is just meh, and you can do it real quickly and real fast as long as you're good with it. Like I said before, just bring yourself 1 red card and a fuse and you're good to go. Now, let's talk about the whole grand finale of this entire process, and that is going to be the Executive Hangers. So you're doing all of this, gathering all these comp boards, making your way through the zones in order to gain access to the Executive Hangers. Within the Executive Hangers, you're going to find the best ship components, and you're also going to be awarded a ship if you actually remember to claim it. Now, the ships you're able to actually get, depending on the loot table, can be a Solon, a Corsair, Cutlass Black, a F7A, and then you can also get a FAC. Those are really cool ships, and they're also very strong ships. Some of the ships you can't even buy, so this is one of the only ways you could potentially get them outside of Wickelow's Emporium. It's actually very simple and very easy to do all of this. You can run all the zones solo if you're skilled enough within just a couple hours. Now, at the end of the day, is doing all of this worth it for some ship components, weapons, and a potential free ship? And all I gotta say is, hell yeah. All of this is 100% worth it. 1 for the experience, 2 for the fun, 3 for the rewards. You never know what you're gonna get, and like I said, it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy doing the contestant zones, and I know a lot of you guys do as well. Also, there just is a huge number of people who hasn't even stepped foot in Pyro yet, who hasn't gotten the chance to even experience this. I highly recommend you guys who are afraid of Pyro to take the plunge. It's not as bad as everyone says it is. I believe the Hawthors are right now the worst location to be in the live build, but you just gotta plunge. And for those who hasn't made their way over to the Pyro system, I highly recommend you guys make your way over here because you are missing out on probably one of the funnest things that exists in the game currently. The Hawthors were fun, but this is really fun just because it's different than anything else in the game. You can experience a lot and you can get yourself a free ship out of it, although you may get a repeat if you're doing it multiple times, but overall it's just a great overall experience in the contestant zones as a whole and the executive hangers. Sometimes it really gets the adrenaline pumping when you come across players, but the overall experience cannot be missed or skipped out on. Again, I highly recommend everyone to give this a try if you haven't yet. And boom, that is pretty much it. I absolutely love running the CZs. As you guys know, that's where I run majority of my FPS videos at when I'm doing all of my weapon testing videos. It's, you know, it's prime real estate in my opinion. I do enjoy it, and the rewards are just awesome. You know, I can find a lot more cooler things here in Pyro versus Stanton, and I just enjoy running the CZs and the exec hangers because it gets the blood pump sometimes, especially in combat. And also the Wickelow's Emporiums, its rewards has changed, or its requirements to gain some of its rewards or favors. You now have to gather some ship components or ship weapons that are only lootable in Pyro in order to gain some of his rewards. So keep that in mind when 4.2 drops. But yeah, that is it. The contestant zones are awesome, and again, I hope you guys actually want to go there. Those of you who actually experienced this zone, comment down below and tell me your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'd really like to hear it. But yeah, make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Slap that like button because it really does help push me up in the algorithm so more eyes are able to see me. But you guys already know who it is. It is the biggest bird in the verse, FC, aka Fried Chicken. Big Bird out.